What's going on, people? Fame Entertainment here from the official WeGameHere.com. Welcome to the 10th episode of One-on-One with Fame Entertainment. And as you guys know, it's a platform for YouTubers and gamers like to come on and let your voice be heard. And I have a huge treat for all of my Xbox fans, man. I got my brother from Krypton up here to speak to you guys. My man, Kal-El. Go ahead and introduce yourself, my man.
What's going on, guys? You already know what it is. Your boy, Kal-El, the last on the planet Xbox is here, representing TiC Podcast, chatting up with my WeGameHere brothers.
That's what's up, man. Now, something I want to know. I know other people want to know also. TiC Podcast. I mean, TiC, you guys are the family. How did you guys really get started? I mean, you guys get the big interviews. Some interview people can't get close to or even think to get close to. But you guys, you guys formed TiC and it became something great. How did that come to fruition?
In a nutshell, it started last year around May. I kind of got frustrated with the bad rap that Xbox was getting from different publications. You guys already know who the culprits are that are out there to this day, still trying to drop those little clickbait articles and coming up with these podcasts that's always trying to find something wrong with the platform. And I just felt like people were still misinformed. You still had people scared that the Kinect was mandatory, that the Xbox wouldn't work if you took it apart. You still had people worried about DRM. It just was so much that was out there. And don't get me wrong, it's a byproduct of Microsoft's, I guess you could say their first presentation that's kind of stuck out to people. But the reality of it is that those things had changed and people weren't informed about it, but yet the media continued to harp on about what was so negative about it instead of looking at what was positive about it. So I wanted to do something different. You already had guys out there who were going at bat for Xbox, but they just were doing it in a different way. They were more battling people and having more of a debate or argumentative things. I didn't want to go that route. I wanted it to be a little bit more mature, a little bit more perspective. So what I did was I decided that I wanted to talk about the positives of Xbox and what was great about the platform and why people should be interested. And if there was something wrong with Xbox, I wanted to be honest about it, because the one thing as an Xbox fan, and I have to say this the same thing, one thing about as a Sony fan, or shall I say a fan in general, when you love a platform, or you've been with a platform for so long, it's easy to forgive their faults. But there has to be accountability. You have to be able to sit up there and acknowledge that something went wrong and it should be fixed. And they have to be called out on it because nobody's perfect. No company is perfect, especially when they're making consumer products. So I just felt like, getting a team together to talk about that was the right thing to do. Initially, I was just going to go solo, but I felt that it was important to get a different perspective. I didn't just want to hear myself talk all the time. It was good to have someone else maybe disagree with something that I said. So I ran into Mike, who some of you guys know as Unified, and I also ran into Brandon, which some of you guys know as B Money 101, and we've had a few discussions and some really intense conversations, and I really felt like, even though I hadn't spoken to them in person, in Twitter, I felt the chemistry. We kind of flowed. We kind of had the same ideas. We kind of understood where we were coming from. And, we decided that we were going to do our first show. I had a friend of mine who was a part of my clan at the time, who actually was on another podcast, join up and kind of show us the ropes of, how we should do things or how things should go. So pretty much we went ahead and we did the first episode, and it was terrible. Absolutely terrible. I mean, the concept of the first episode was good. It was long, it was about an hour, but I mean, I used my Turtle Beach headset. It was very cloudy on my end. My boy, he didn't have no air conditioner in the house, like central air, so he was in the back room near the air conditioner. You could hear it humming. I mean, it was real amateurish. But the one thing that I did do was hit up Phil Spencer. That first episode, I hit Phil Spencer up, and I sent him the link straight to the episode, and he genuinely listened to it. Now, I've been talking to Phil Spencer off and on for a very long time. I mean, just for the simple fact that I'm a big RPG guy. I've been trying to get him to figure out a way to get Shenmue on the platform, so I'm always going that bat for Shenmue. I'm always going that bat for, RPGs on the Xbox One and adventure games. So when I hit him up, I let him know, listen, I got this podcast. I really would like you to hear it. Just give me your opinion. And he did. He really did. And the one thing that he said was that the content was great, but the quality needed to be better. And we need to do something with our transitions. And the fact that he said that to me, when you get that kind of advice from somebody as important as Phil Spencer is in the direction that your platform goes, you want to heed that advice. This is somebody that's been in this industry for a very long time and understands how it works. So the first thing I did was go out and get myself a brand new mic, make sure I got a nice headset, make sure that I forced, or I won't say force, but I put pressure on my guys to also go out and get headsets. And as we got further and further into the podcast thing, it started to get better. We started to flow. We started to understand what we were doing and subjects and things like that, and just have a different approach. And we wind up developing this thing where being the voice of the fans was important. Being able to ask the questions and putting the fans front stage, having them come on the show, having us ask questions and talking about those topics was very important. And to this day, we still try to do those things. Unfortunately, the fourth member of our group had left because he had a conflict with his podcast, and that didn't work out. But somewhere down the road, around our 7th episode, Unified had reached out to Phil because at the time we didn't hear anything else from him after that. We would send him every episode. Every episode we came out with, we would send him one. We would send one to him. We would send one to Aaron Greenberg. We would send one to Ken Lobb. We would send one to Mike Cabrera. Like anybody that we could think of, Xbox-wise, we would send one to. Whether or not they listened to it didn't matter, but the fact that we linked them was important. And he went ahead and asked him, hey, Phil, would you mind coming on the show for 15 minutes of your time just to answer a few questions? And he said, sure. And it really was that simple. Some people get their, impression that it was some deal because we used Skype to record or we begged him to come on the show, and it really wasn't. We just literally just asked him straight up, and he said yes, he'll come on the show. And it wasn't too much longer after that. About 2 weeks later, right into October, he came on the show. We recorded the show, and we were able to get him to do a promo for us and everything. And off mic, I wish I would have recorded the things that he said because it really was off topic. But one of the things he said to us was that he loved the show. And the reason why he loved the show was because of the simple fact that we didn't get into the fanboy nonsense. We didn't do the fanboy war thing because he felt that, all platforms were important. And he likes all platforms. He's not just an Xbox guy. He's the head of Xbox, but he does play PlayStation. He does play Nintendo. So it was important for us to show that, yeah, we're Xbox, but we're not Xbox hating on PlayStation. We're not Xbox hating on Nintendo. We're just focused on Xbox. That's what we did. And, from there, it was just a trickle-down effect. And he really opened up a big door for us. And the crazy thing about it, just to finish up, is like, it's one thing when you work your way up, but it's different when you start from the top. And it's like, okay, where do we go from here? It's like you talk to the big dog. Now, where do you go from here? And, that opened up an opportunity for us, and we ran with it. We were like, we're just going to run with this thing and rock it till the wheels fall off, and it has become a part of our identity, and it's been very successful for us. And thanks to Phil Spencer, we are where we are today, and thanks to the fans, we are now becoming, I won't say a powerhouse just yet, but we are starting to become a very, I guess you could say we are evolving from just a podcast into a movement in a way.
Now, one of the things you said is a perfect transition to my next question. You said it's one thing starting at the bottom, going to the top, and starting at the top. Now that when you guys went up there and you talked to as high as it goes, you talked to the head of Xbox, Phil Spencer. Do you guys feel any pressure to continue to, give out those great interviews and that great content since you already got Phil? Do you feel any pressure of getting the next person on, or the next big topic, or the next big interview? You guys feel any pressure?
You know what? I'll be honest with you. We don't feel pressure. the interview happened. I think what's important for us now is to continue to build on what we've established. It's one thing to do an interview with Phil Spencer and then just to let it go. It's another thing to continue that and then to continue to be in the industry and meet different peoples and develop a relationship within the Xbox executive branch. Talk to developers and develop relationships with the developers, and that's how you become more. You become more than just three guys on a microphone talking at home in their basement. You start to develop an identity. People start to look to you for news and information. People value your opinion. And even though we don't get paid for it, even though we're not truly affiliated with Microsoft and they're not cutting us checks or anything, and everything that we do is out of our pocket, I think that I love how the community has embraced us, and because of that, I want to do more for the community. I want to do more for the fans. So no, I don't feel any pressure to do it. I feel pressure to continue to make the fans feel important, to continue to tell people and let people know, hey, Xbox is the platform that you want to be on, because really this is the future. Regardless of what everybody thinks about resolution and frames per second, it's what the Xbox is as a whole that makes it next generation. What it can do off game, what makes it next generation, along with what we're going to get this year that makes the next generation when we see these new games, these second-tier games, of course, with the launch of DX12. Like they said, it was future-proof. So yeah, pressure-wise, no, not for getting major interviews. I think we do well with our own topics and our own conversations. We're not the funniest group out there. We aren't the rowdiest to start beefs, but we really try to think logical. We really try to think from a fan's perspective, because we are fans. And we try to look at ourselves. We would just, regular old Joe sitting at home playing games, thinking to himself, what would I say if I met this person, or what would I do if I met this person? That's how we look at it, and we are that person asking these guys these questions because we know that that's what the fans want to hear. We know that's what the fans want to ask. So no pressure on us on that end, but definitely pressure to stay true to being an Xbox-centric podcast and being there for the fans and being the voice of the fans, definitely.
And that's great, man. For the people watching, man, send this to Phil, because in my eyes, these guys deserve a Xbox badge, man. You guys do great work putting out the positive side of Xbox. You guys, you aren't just damage controlling the negative things. You guys talk about it, put a realistic, mindset to it, and that's great. So I think definitely if people are watching, send this out, man, because TiC Podcast guys deserve a Xbox badge, man. You guys, that needs to be an official, Xbox podcast. You guys are great with that. So what's going on now with TiC? You guys have the website coming up. Can you tell people about the website and what you guys are doing with that?
Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah. In a nutshell, what it is we worked really hard, obviously, throughout the year, and we finally got recognized by some of the guys, and we got invited to E3 by Mr. Ken Lobb after we had him on the show. That was a great show, by the way, because we actually got some information on Scalebound and Phantom Dust and some other things. But yeah, we got invited to E3 by Ken Lobb, and then we wind up getting followed up. I won't say we got invited to the Microsoft conference by Ken Lobb, and then we got followed up and it was invited to the E3 event by Aaron Greenberg and Phil Spencer. And which was a funny story because we thought from the jump we were going to go to E3, but no, it wasn't. It was a Microsoft conference. So we were kind of stuck on stupid for a little while because I was trying to get in contact with them for months, trying to figure out how are we supposed to get to, if we're going to E3, what do I have to do? It's not like I'm the richest person in the world. I'm not saying I'm broke or something like that, but, I'm like, hey, plane tickets, hotel fees, cars, rentals and things like that, food, transportation. I'm just trying to figure out how, what is the amount that I need to handle all this stuff. And this is my first time going to LA, being a New Yorker. So I wasn't getting any responses from them at all. Everything was, well, you have to wait. We don't have any information at this time. And sure enough, when it hit the last minute, and everything was shut down when it came to registering for E3, thinking that we were going to get in from the Microsoft perspective. No, we weren't. We were only getting into the Microsoft conference, and they can only control what they could do from the Microsoft conference. So I wound up chatting with a few people, and one of them, surprisingly, for some people who feel that he's a biased person, Jeff Keighley has become a really big friend to TiC Podcast. Really awesome dude, man. Really is. A lot of people give him a lot of slack and a bad rap for some of the things he says, but he's a journalist. He's just doing his job, man. And the guy some people may feel that he's biased towards PlayStation, and some others may not feel that way. But just as a person individually, he's been cool with us. And I reached out because one of the things that he had offered us was when we came to E3 that he was willing to do a recorded podcast broadcast with him, the TiC Podcast crew, Ken Lobb, and Phil Spencer.
Wow.
And I'm like, that's crazy. Like, that's crazy, So I had reached out to him. I told him, look, I might not be able to make it this year because it's last minute. We didn't get the registration done. And he's like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? He's like, all you got to do is contact so-and-so, and it'll get done. And sure enough, it got done. So we are on our way to E3 and things like that. So because of that, we want to try to present this thing in the best light possible and from a fan's perspective. You always get this stuff from a journalistic perspective. You get the typical journalists going there, and they're sitting there and they're asking questions, things like that. But what is it like to be a fan on the floor? Like walking around E3, seeing all these people, all these crowds, standing online, looking at games. What is it like from that perspective? You don't get that perspective. So that's what we're going to do. I'm probably going to go out. I'm probably going to GoPro it on my side. We also have a cameraman for our interviews, as well as a person who will be anchoring the show. Skittles, who runs our Twitch streams and things like that, he will be reporting from the sideline as a reporter. I will be, I guess you could say, hardcoring it out with the GoPro, running around the floor, getting all this crate footage, and talking to different people as well. And we'll just be networking. And the great thing about that is that now we have a platform for everyone to go to and get this news and see these videos at TicGen. Basically TICGN, which is the Inner Circle Game Network. And on here, you'll be able to get your E3 news, get daily Xbox news. You'll be able to get Windows news, tech news, reviews. Myself and Anchorman have teamed up. We have a show called the Multiverse Podcast, where we talk about superheroes and anime and things like that. And that as well, that will be on there. And then we have a reflection with movie and TVs, where we talk about, what was the hottest movie. We do movie reviews. We have TVs, what's the hottest shows and things like that. And the great thing about that is that we cover everything Xbox. Everything Xbox is in that. So you have everything that you can watch on the Xbox, everything that you can do on the Xbox, everything integrated with Windows and that Microsoft perspective. We have that all integrated into our platform with an amazing team of writers. And when this website drops, you guys are going to be impressed.
That's amazing, man. And I definitely, that whole GoPro thing, you got me. You had me at that, man. I think that's a perspective that lots of people would love to be able to experience. Like you said, not everyone can afford to fly to LA and have the privilege to be invited to E3. So to give that first person view, that is amazing, man. And that's kudos to you and your team for coming up with that idea. That's great. And I definitely want to have you come back on sometime after E3 and we can talk about that experience, man. 'Cause that's great what you guys are doing. Now, my last question for you, and like I tell the people, I won't hold you to it. Is there anything you can give me as far as a prediction or a rumor you might be hearing, or something that we might be getting as far as Xbox E3, as far as a game or feature, any type of prediction, anything you can give us? Like I said before, I will not hold you to it, brother.
Well, here's the thing. This is what I know from a lot of the developers that I talk to behind the scenes. Microsoft, obviously you've heard Phil Spencer say that this is going to be a big thing for them first party wise. We know why. We know Sony is trying to soak up as many third parties as possible. They're taking a lot of deals. Microsoft is focused in first party, but that's something Phil already wanted to focus on. So expect a lot of new IPs coming out of them. Some of them may be smaller, but you do have some. I think one of the games that fans probably don't really hear much about is a game called Eden Falls. And that is something you guys should keep your eye on. That is supposed to be a new RPG coming out of there. You also have the game from Rare, which most of us heard about, and that is supposed to be a new IP as well. It's not Banjo. We don't believe it's Banjo. We don't believe it's Conquer. We believe it is a new IP. But, you know, the rumor that I've been hearing mostly about is something with Valve. I did a pod shot the other day. I talked about it possibly being Half-Life 3. My team turned around and said, no, it could be Left 4 Dead 3, which actually makes a little bit more sense because you've already had 2 Left 4 Deads on the 360. So it would actually make sense to go ahead and continue that trend and have that on the Xbox One. So I expect something from Valve, and I expect a big game, third-party exclusive from Microsoft. I don't know what exactly, but I do expect a big one. And I just think that we're going to see mostly first-party stuff. You'll have first-party, second-party things. Obviously they're going to have the new console that's already been kind of sprung on us from Amazon and things like that. But there's something coming dashboard-wise. That's another thing that we have to look out for. There's something coming dashboard-wise, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was actually either backwards compatibility or some type of app where we can play our old games. I really believe that's probably going to be something really big that will bring the fans from 360 to Xbox One. So that might be something else to look out for.
Because I saw Major Nelson had put something out about an update that we had got, I believe today, and it was a small update, but it was for the future. Do you think that's something that Mike can drop at E3, like, hey, this is what this update was about, this is going live now? Anything like that, you think maybe?
I think it is. I think they're definitely going to have something that they're going to say is going to go live now. I can tell you this. You look at it from the perspective of they got the DirectX 12 coming out and at the end of this month for PC, right? The following month is probably going to be the month that the people in the preview program get DirectX 12. The reason why I'm saying that is because they said they're launching DX12 at the end of the summer for the Xbox One. So prior to that, the month before, we'll probably go to the preview people. So we'll probably have the streaming services and all that things integrated or whatever. But there's something in that update that is bigger than just streaming for Xbox to PC. There's definitely more to that. And I think it has to be. I think you have to have something more than that because a lot of us Xbox fans, and I don't want to sound too bitter about the situation, but a lot of us Xbox fans feel a little shafted at the prospect of losing exclusives to the PC platform, let alone us paying monthly, let alone us paying yearly for Xbox Live while the PC fan base gets it for free.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think they're probably doing something as an incentive to make up for that in some type of way, and I think doing maybe us allowing us to get our backwards compatibility on would be great because what you get with that is the ability to go to Xbox.com and get those Game for Gold games. I mean those games with gold games for free, downloaded from Xbox.com and have them right on your Xbox 360. I mean Xbox One, excuse me, right on your Xbox One. So that would double your games per month, and then you would also be able to play maybe some of the older games that they have the right pricing model. But what's really big is if they let you have digital ownership of all your old games that you own on 360. You do that, you'll win everybody.
Oh yeah,
you do that, you'll win everybody. Yeah. So I expect that.
Like that'd be awesome news, man. And Just for the people listening, I will be linking the TiC Podcast. I mean, if you guys are living under a rock, that's the only reason why you should not have heard of TiC, man. If you've been under a rock, you've been a pony for the past, 2 years. The only reason you would not know about TiC Podcast, but just in case you don't, I will be linking their YouTube channel in the description, and I also will be putting their Twitter handle in the description also. So definitely, guys, make sure you go check them out. If you're an Xbox fan, not just. I mean, if you're a PlayStation fan, you're interested in going Xbox, or you decide to be a multi-console owner, these are the guys you want to talk to about Xbox. Because give you from a perfect perspective.
Also, with that, we actually have an annual show too, because we know that we have some PlayStation fans, some Nintendo fans. So we do an annual show called The Commission, where we have Player Essence representing Nintendo and Broken Games HD representing PlayStation. These guys come on and we just talk about Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo the last 3 months with TiC Podcast representing Xbox, and it's been successful. The last show that we did, me and Broken, unfortunately we missed Essence on that show, but we'll get him on the next episode. We all got together. It was a very successful show. So we do have things for guys out there who are PlayStation fans and Nintendo fans. We have a small segment for you that you guys can check out to get a multi-industry console perspective without all the fanboy dribble and all the hate.
That's beautiful, man. Now, is there anything we might have missed that you want to maybe get out? I don't have the biggest fan base in the world, but I'm pretty sure I have some people who, may not have know about you guys too much. So anything I might have missed that you want to get out to maybe a new set of ears that that you want to get out to the people that you let them know.
I mean, listen, man, WeGameHere fans, you guys are awesome. You support one of the best podcast networks out there. It doesn't matter how big the fan base is, because everybody is important. If they're listening to you, they are important. And of course, we're all Xbox gamers, so we're all a part of the Xbox family. As far as TiC is concerned, like I said, stay tuned Sunday. We're dropping TiC Gen, which is TiCGN. That's not what it's called. I'm just calling it that for short. It's really called TiCGN.com, TiCGN.com, but I call it TiC Gen because it's just quick and easier to say. That'll be dropping, and you can get some really awesome news on there. What's really cool about that website, one of the features that we have is an awesome review feature. When you sign on and you check out our reviews, as a user, you can actually have a user review. And that's grouped up by everybody else. Now, that's not too different from maybe a Metacritic where you always have user reviews. But then when you go to the comment section, you can create your own review from scratch. Like, you have every single category. You have the numbers that you want to put. You have your pros and cons. You can write a whole paragraph. And what's really great about that is if you want to join TiC's writing staff sometime in the future, that's a great place to get evaluated. It's an awesome place to get evaluated. We are working on a membership site where guys can get rewarded with games. Premium members can get anything from Turtle Beaches to controllers. We are giving away to members who sign up. We are giving away Batman Arkham Knight, the new Xbox One controller with the 3.5 millimeter jack, and an Xbox One.
Wow, good stuff, man.
Yeah, so definitely sign up to the site. That is a place that you want to sign up, a place that you definitely want to hang out. I'm actually working on the forums today, building that for you guys. One of the cool things that we got happening is the guys at Direct Xbox forums are going to leave Direct Xbox and join TiC forums. So we've been working that out with them. And of course, don't forget our Twitch. Check out Twitch, man. We have 1,000 followers, and we are just giving games away. We get a lot of cool games from executives. They DM us, they give us codes all the time, and we give games away all the time on our Twitch channel. So if you don't know what our Twitch channel is, it's twitch.tv /TiC_podcast, TiC_podcast. So definitely check that out. And of course, check us out on YouTube, which is just look up TiC Podcast, man. We are the #1 TiC out there. So yeah, really appreciate you guys for checking out the stream and listening to the show. I really appreciate Fame, really appreciate the WeGameHere guys for giving me the opportunity, and hope to be able to come on again and talk some more.
All right, man. Kyle, I really thank you for coming on, man. Big respect to you and the whole TiC Podcast. All you guys are great, man. I really thank you for coming on. I want all you guys, like I said below, all the links will be in there. Go subscribe. Go check out the Twitch. Go follow them on Twitter. Make sure you guys show these guys some love. This is Fame Entertainment. I want to thank you guys for, watching the 10th episode. I know 10 is a small number, some of you guys, but I'm so happy that people are constantly watching this show and making me continue to do it to get me to 10, so that's great. This is Fame Entertainment from the official WeGameHere.com, and to my brother from Planet Xbox, thanks for coming on. I hope to see you on again, my man.
Yes, sir. Definitely.
Peace out.
Peace.